Hey family, welcome back to Misadventures of Superdad. I am Samani Don and it's story time. So if I had to pick a movie to encapsulate my childhood, it would definitely be The Jungle Book. I am clearly, clearly Mowgli. My dad is definitely Baloo. And growing up in Southern California in the San Fernando Valley in the 1990s with the crack cocaine epidemic and everything that brought, it was definitely a jungle. Definitely a jungly time. There were definitely some Shere Khan characters. It was a thing. 80s and 90s, man. During one particular summer, I was knee deep in my summer routine, which was either swimming or day camp and then coming home to dive headfirst into the world of whatever stack of books I was reading. And then when my dad got home, martial arts, and then I could go back outside for hide and go seek, which was my shiz. Oh my gosh. So we've already discussed, if I will link it, episode 3, if you do not understand why having to learn martial arts from my father was it was all fun and games until he got home. And when he got home, he would park blocks away so that the carport where he was supposed to park his car would be empty. And he had hung a heavy bag and the various punching bags from the rafters of the carport, and I would have to be out there doing whatever, kicks, punches, blocks, and I had to do X number of them perfectly per his specifications before I had earned my freedom to go outside and play. And he would be there standing with the, the face of concentration, the Sensei Sam face. And he would count, hui, 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 and, had this sort of, you know what I mean, going on, this number. Any of you guys, karate classes in the 80s, boy, you know what I'm talking about. And he would count, and it would be 1, 2, 3, 3, 3, 4. Like, I had to get it right before it would even count. If it was wrong, it did not count. And so once I landed, however many perfect punches he deemed needed in a day, I could then go out, away and play hide and go seek, which was the best thing ever. I was about 9 or 10, so I was a big kid. Like, I was a big 9 or 10. And I was a tomboy, so I was like right there, like height-wise, size-wise, running and playing with the boys. It was the thing. So one particular day, I had already finished the martial arts stuff, so I was able to go outside, and me and the other kids were congregating for the beginning of what would be epic hide and seek. And one kid had finally came back from like staying 2 weeks or so at his cousin's house in LA. And he said, you know what, we should play this new game. It's really, really super cool. I can teach it to you guys. It's called Hide and Go Get It. And I was, like, I've never heard of this. Some other folks had never heard of it. And he was like, oh, don't worry. It's just like hide and go seek. Okay, whatever. If it's like hide and go seek, I'm ready. I'm in there. Can't hold me. I'm on it. Hide and go seek was my shiz. Best hiding, fastest running, highest jumping. Yes. Tomboy, everything ready. And so he says he'll be it first because he's going to show everybody how to play the game. He starts counting. We go hide. And, you know, he's finding different people and I can hear him coming. There's no way for me to sort of escape where my little hiding place is. And he comes in and instead of just tagging me, there was like touching and like a groping. And I was like, whoa! And I turned around because I was trying to get away. So I was facing away from him. And I turned around and just immediately, just bam, cracked him clean right across, cracked him right in the nose. And his, you know, his head went back and his face just exploded. Like there was blood everywhere. It was running down his face. It was all in his mouth. And then he starts to cry as if something had happened to him. And so he leaves, all the other, you know, he goes home, all the other kids come out, we're sitting there talking about it, and, you know, basically we decide that maybe hide and go get it isn't the best game for us to play. Maybe we'll just go back to playing hide and go seek. I say, okay, cool, go in the house, because I've got just enough time. It's just early enough that I can sneak in without that old slamming screen door, close the door softly, sneak in, get a snack, and come back. And if they see me, it's early enough that I won't be made to stay in the house. Because it's too light, if it's too dark, too close to the street lights coming on, they're like, you might as well just stay inside. So it's just light enough that I'm sure I can get in, get a snack, get back, a couple more rounds of the game. It's cool. Everything's good. And so I'm walking in. I walk into the sort of courtyard of the apartment building, and I hear from across the courtyard, hey, you, hey. And so I sort of look up. This guy's like, hey, you little bitch, you broke my brother's nose. And he comes over, and he grabs me, and he's yelling at me, and he's shaking me. Now look here. The way my autism is set up, this is not an effective method of communicating with me. It just confuses me. Like, you're yelling, I don't know why, I don't know who you are. Like, I kind of know who he was. He was related to the dude with the nose, so I know that somehow I'm sort of in trouble here. But the yelling and screaming, I'm about to have an episode. I'm not, whatever this isn't gonna work. And I am sort of trying not to get overwhelmed with this adult male who's got a hold of me and sort of scolding me at really high volumes. And I hear thwack. And I know that that is the sound of the screen door to my apartment on the second floor slamming shut. And I look up and I see my dad. He takes 2 or 3 steps real quick and leaps off the top floor of the building, second story, comes down, lands in, I'm not even kidding, lands in Karate Kid style crane stance, like with the arms and the foot on the one leg. Blade kicks the dude in the neck. And it happened so fast. I didn't even initially think that he had kicked the guy, because it was just like a flash, just in and out, until I saw this line start to appear of blood where the skin had just torn across the guy's neck. And then in one fell swoop, as soon as his leg comes down, he steps to the dude and he's got him around the back. So he's my dad is with his body, he's pinned the guy's arm to his side and just steps to him, and he's in his ear, don't you ever talk to my daughter again, or your whole life will change. Do you hear me? Not only should you not talk to her, I don't even want to hear you say her name. The day I hear you say her name ever again in life, your whole world changes. No questions. I'm not talking to you. I'm not saying nothing. Do you understand me? And the guy like paused like he was gonna say something, and my dad like flinched in like a way like when you suddenly get like the attention of like a lion or something, like, you know what I mean? Like you were 10 seconds from imminent attack. Like, did you just? And the guy was like, all right, look, hey, I don't need all that. It doesn't have to be all that. I'm just saying the kid. Da, da, da. And he just sort of, he walks away. And my dad stands there, just staring, like boring eye holes in the back of this dude's head as he walks all the way across the courtyard and back into his apartment. And I am just standing there. And he turns and he looks at me and he goes, "That's my boy." And he picks me up and he spins me around and he throws me, onto his back in like this piggyback ride and starts walking up the stairs towards our apartment, singing. Look for the bare necessities, the simple bare necessities. Forget about your worries and your strife. And he stops. Forget about your worries and your strife. And he peeks back and he looks at me on his back, and I go, "That's right." He finishes the rest of the song cheerily coming up the stairs, carrying me like a sack of potatoes. And that was it. That was it. No discussion. He didn't ask me what happened. Nothing. That was it. And so I am sharing that story to thank the fighter types who helped me during the time that my dad was missing. I want to give specific thanks out to Osei Gyamfi for being one of the man on the ground types who showed up and was actually willing to walk the miles and pass out flyers and talk to the strangers and tell everybody what happened. And, that helped. That is what, for me, moved the search forward. That's the kind of thing that you can't cover enough ground all alone. And so without him and folks like him who showed up and were willing to actually walk the miles surrounding, these different places that I had identified to search, I wouldn't have been able to do it. Also, Jason Yorrick, similar, another man on the ground. If you're from Southern California, when I say I was going to search all of Balboa Park, you understand what that means. It's like saying, oh, I'm going to search Central Park in New York. Like, it's huge. And without having someone who's going to say, you can't search all this by yourself. Like, what's wrong with you? Who's actually willing to show up and go out and talk to people and look and flyer and all of that kind of stuff. I am so, so grateful to the two of them. Thank you. Also to Orpheus Black and the whole Black family for being there, for being attentive, for being willing to corral my madness and make moves and get folks involved and ask questions and get things moving and get people helping and get me the resources that I needed and couldn't even know to ask for. So thank you so much. Also, Sharaud Moore, thank you so much for checking on me and strategizing with me and helping me figure out where to go and what to do and sort of what made the most sense, because it was such a huge thing to try to figure out where to begin. So thank you, family. Thank you, everyone. And that's it. Bye.